a bit before the opening set. I took the bet, I know the rest is good, I guess. The cavern is a crowd around and I can scarce get by on second breath between the breaths. Now it's 1 a.m. and I don't know how I'll get home. The way is barely paved.
Cassette Beasts, a world full of dangerous and interesting monsters. Whether exploring the Eastham Woods or Cast Iron Shore, there's tons of monsters out there. But which of them are the safest and tastiest to munch? Today, I've gone over all 140 beasts and 21 archangels to figure out which of them are the best to eat, both in survival and fine dining. By the way, shout out to Arson. They're behind the cameras right now, one of them at least, not that one, that one. I have a 2-camera setup. This will be very hard to edit. They helped me do a ton of the research for this video, and they're going to be making a meal out of what we deem to be the best. So...
Hi, do you like my cosplay?
So, on this side we've got the least of the edible ones, and on this side we've got the most edible. It goes from, you literally cannot eat this, to this will be the best that you've ever had. So, to get a nice easy start, here is everything you can't eat. Okay, so this is the largest selection of beasts in the whole thing. This section is everything that you cannot eat. It can be made of metal, it can be made of sand, it can be incorporeal, doesn't matter, can't eat it. Notably, we do have some very interesting things here. Notably, we have things like Woltergeist, who is a ghost. Last I checked, you can't eat ghosts. I'm pretty sure that's impossible. Then we've also got guys like Capricorpse, which is kind of just a decayed corpse. It's really more of a skeleton. It's reanimated, carrying around a chunk of earth. That's its own gravestone. I'm sorry, but you can't eat gravestones. So you got guys like Skelevangelist and Terracotta, who are just made out of rock. And then you've got Mascatoy and Mascatorn, who are stuffed animals. You can't eat whatever they're made out of. I didn't research it, but I know you can't eat stuffed animals. And then there's the Archangels. What is that? So Archangels are manifestations of something, like egregores, right?
Right.
Right, okay. So they're formed out of humanity's desires. Is there an Archangel for hunger? Am I the Archangel for hunger? Is there an Archangel made out of the desire of people who want to become Archangels? The Archangels are incredibly interesting. And I would love to write a 12-page essay on them, if you'll have me. We're just going to skip that, though. We are going to assume that all of the Archangels come directly as advertised. They eat like they look, they are eaten like they look, we're rolling with it. We know that if an Archangel is killed, it will eventually reform. So when you cook up a nice mammon steak, it'll eventually reform. What is the reformation of the old matter? Is it like, does everything left rip itself out of wherever it is to reform together? Is mammon reforming entirely new matter? Can you even make a meal out of something so powerful? Is the pure essence and being of an Archangel too powerful to be eaten? So we're just running with, is it possible? Again, directly as advertised, because I don't know the answer to these. No one knows the answer to these. They're gods, and we're going to eat them. Going forward, we're going to treat the Archangels like they can be eaten as any normal character. Just for convenience sake, really. What is Helia? Halia? Who's Halia? Who's Halia? I don't think you can eat this. Now, there are a couple characters to note, like Morgante. What is that made of? Is that bone? I don't really know what she's made of. I'm just going with bone. Same with like Memento Mori. I'm pretty sure that that's bone. That has to be bone. Hecahedron isn't even like comprehensible, let alone digestible. The Merline. This is tracks that the island lives on. You probably cannot even comprehend eating this. And then of course you got Pearl and her gang. I was kind of on the fence about where they should go. I ultimately decided that even though that they are humans who have been tortured and maimed to no longer look like humans, they look more like machines and have the ability Machine Curse as their signature. So they're not edible. I'm really sorry to all of the fans out there who really wanted a nice slice of raven meat, but that's off the table. So next up is the category that will kill you. Malcolmy probably has way too much sugar in it to be edible for basically anyone. Glass Stain is made of glass, and I have no idea what's in Shining Kaneko. You're probably wondering why the rest of these are here, and that's because they'll kill you before you can kill them. Like the Poison Monster, the Bullet, Mechagodzilla, and this freak. You are probably incredibly curious as to why Decibel is here. Decibel likely isn't organic. Its wings float off of its body. Its wings are made out of speakers and ribbons. It has a little headset that's built into the body. There's probably electrical wires running all the way through the entire thing. While we were researching the video, Arson is quoted as saying, theoretically could be eaten, but I don't want to be the one to find out, so we have that on record. And now we have the morally dubious tier. So all of these, in theory, can be eaten, except for two. We'll get to that in a second. But is it really okay to do so? We can also go ahead and throw Alice and Lena in this tier. They could be eaten if you so desired. Sure, you could. But then, like, Elfless, that's just a boy. That's just a boy. You wouldn't eat a boy. You wouldn't eat a boy. And then Pom Bomb, that's just a dog. Would you be comfortable eating something like this? If so, then hey man, good for you. But while you're chowing down on those Little Red chops, do you really feel comfortable knowing that Little Red Riding Hood is never gonna make it to her grandparents' house? Are you comfortable with that? Are you comfortable with? Our next tier are those which are edible? ? You could eat them. They'll probably be the most disgusting thing you've ever had, or arguably inedible. But we throw them in here anyway. So all of these theoretically could be eaten, but like the zombie, like yeah, you could eat it. It's already dead. It's a corpse, but like it's probably been dead for a while anyway. Probably rotting in the hot sun. And then like Moth Maniac has a giant light bulb on its butt. You've got to be eating around that. And then eating like a Hun Torch, that's a bush, Luddy. You're eating a bush. And then gumballs are actually elemental spheres. Doesn't say exactly what they are. Very minimal information to go off of. But you probably shouldn't eat elemental spheres. Miss Mimic is probably the most interesting of these. Miss Mimic is either fully organic or fully robotic. Mimics in media are very often in the form of chests, which they are in Cassette Beasts, munching down on the flesh of which unlucky adventurer gets too close. They're usually the ones eating. While they are normally organic, Miss Mimic here has a very specific design. She's no longer trying to replicate something specific like a chest with tongues. Here's 5 images of that. Instead, she's contorting the form of the Ranger Cache into something far more unique. It's a moving body that's able to fight and fall asleep. Stop doing Gangnam Style.
Just don't let me distract you.
So I'm leaning towards organic. Her alternate bestiary entry specifically mentioned organisms growing to look like other organisms for evolutionary benefits, such as finding food. Or rather, food finding you. Next up are the ones that can be eaten with full confidence. Maybe. Ish. This is the tier with stuff that could be eaten but not be delicious. Like, there'll probably be some flavor but not very much. You've got stuff like muscrateer or pixie, where you could eat these. There's just not going to be much to you. That's the skinniest little thing I've ever seen. And a rat. Want to eat a rat? The padpole line has bodies that look like skin and lily pad heads, and then traffic crab should be over here, right? Right?
Well, no, because we ranked it.
But why is it? Hold on, what? We debated on this for a very long time, far too long. Arston and I had very conflicting opinions on what's underneath that stupid traffic cone. I had to turn to the only people I know who could answer this question. People with unmatched knowledge of the series and of animals. So I went to the developers of the game itself. Now, they've been very nice and open when it comes to answering questions. They've put up with my garbage way more than they should have. So I shot them a question on Twitter. Are traffic crabs pure machine, or do they have meat inside? And they responded with 3 simple words. They are organic. I'm sorry? This has meat in it. This has just completely changed the whole video. Everything up until now, I've been fully confident is like mechanical. But what if there's anything in New World that isn't purely mechanical? Okay, so like Ben Vader looks like a trash robot, right? What if that's it just trying to disinterest you in eating it because it looks like garbage? Zeus Strike is made of clouds and electricity and armor. But what if there's a heart? Is All-Seer's eye edible? Can I crack it open like an egg into a skillet and make a delicious omelet? Gelatin's claws, can they be boiled down into soft stuff and be eaten? This was a very upsetting thing to know. This has ruined my life. I don't know how much of traffic crab is organic, but it is. So I have to put it here as much as I hate it. So we're putting them here because they're low level, easy to find and kill, and they are just all over the place. This is probably the most common beast in the whole game. So that's why the startergrade is here. Tardigrades are near microscopic entities, and startergrades are bigger than a human. Bigger than a human. I don't want that anywhere near my mouth, let alone my family, my friends. Remove startergrade from the game, please. It freaks me out. No other monarch is probably pretty chewy, actually. I'm assuming the rubber hose here is more of like a conceptual than literal. So like, what if that rubber hose is closer to gum than a rubber? You're gonna get 5 energy? No, 5 monarch.
Dude.
Yeah, that's a bad bit. We're also throwing Capri into this tier because if that thing's body is strong enough to hold a miniature sun, you probably can't cook it. I'm sorry. You're gonna have to eat this raw. Fountas is here, and Fossetier was in the previous one, but we're moving down to Fountas here. I'm not really sure how to rank these beasts. They're the only beasts in the game that seem to really naturally create water. Obviously, other beasts like water ones do it as well, but these are the only ones that seem to have it baked into their biology that they're constantly creating water. We put Fosseteer lower than Fountess purely just because Fountess seems to be more experienced, stronger, better, harder, faster in basically every shape and size. So I'm just going to assume that its water is cleaner, and Fosseteer's tears are probably the water it makes. So it's probably kind of salty. If you want to drink salt water, you're living on an island. Our next batch are those you actually would want to eat. Some of these might be good meats, full of vegetables. Then you've also got alcohol? No, we don't really know what gin and tonic actually serves. All we know is that it's family friendly and doesn't raise the age rating of the game. Those are real quotes. So technically it isn't clear what kind of drinks it serves, aside from the fact that it serves. We don't know if the drinks it spawns are infinite, limitless, delicious even. All we know is that it can, and it does. So it's just here for now. You can also find Can Devil and Ven Demon here, which are technically edible since their whole bodies are made out of candy, but if you eat that much sugar, you'll die. It was kind of the same issue with Malcolmy all the way back. However, instead of poison, it's candy, sugar. You might be curious why Ice Peck and Cryo Shear are this high. Yeah, I'm kind of confused too. We actually ended up having to look at the art book for some of these. They're birds. They're just freaky birds. However, they're being bumped down to this tier because there are better birds in this game for you to eat. Like, they're fine-ish. Like, you can eat these, but there's better stuff out there for you. You might be curious about Hot Tone. Oh, that's fair. But it really just came down to the fact that you can eat paper. I did. And, well, you know, I turned out fine. We've got Worma here. It has tons of meat. This has a massive body. It is a big thing. But the quality of it is dubious at best. Worma seems to be heavily based on an eel, and eels aren't exactly known for being the best tasting animal to exist. And also, if you want seafood, oh my gosh, there are so many better options. Brushroom and Fungo really should be in the next tier. They're literally just mushrooms, but you're gonna have to clean the paint off of some of them first, and you know, that's a little bit messy. If you just eat a little bit of paint, it kills you. You can have too much paint, it kills you. They're hard to clean and prepare, basically. The rest of these beasts are fine. They're basically just big with meat, like Plasma Antler or Kufo. They're just kind of big meat. And now our...
Wait. What about Aleph?
Aleph.
You know, the British guy?
Right. Yeah, where is he supposed to be? Let me check our list. Oh, no, you're right. He's supposed to be right here in this tier. You might be curious why Aleph is this high, and we have proof. And now, our final tier. These are the cream of the crop. The best and most delicious. I would really suggest frying up steaks and making salads out of these beasts. These will likely become your main source of food in New World. We just have a delicious batch here. We've got the Jumpkin line, and we've got the Dandelion line. I mean, they're just edible plants. That's great. That's fantastic. We've got the Cluckabilly line, and that one I still don't know how to pronounce. And these are the better birds. This is what Ice Peck and Cryoshear should strive to be. All of the beasts here are big and delicious, like Pacrolips and Manosphere, just to name some off the top of my head. And you've got great choices for seafood here, like Undying, Regency, and Diveal. But let's go over the weird ones. Why is Banshee here? All of its remasters are dying or dead. So what's this doing? And their entries say that they're alive, just crybabies, and that's not enough to disqualify someone. Cauldron is specifically mentioned to always be cooking delicious broth. While it is hot enough to attack with, it also says that if it likes you and it's on your good side, it'll just give it to you. Because they're awesome. And like, if you always want your soup to be a little bit colder, you can always just go for like an ice type cauldron. Lobstacle is terrifying, actually. We've already established that traffic crab has meat in it, so its other versions must as well. Do you see how big that thing is? There would be so much meat underneath that shell. I mean, like, the inside of the massive barrel that Lobstacle calls its shell will be like, what, 400 pounds? That's so much meat. That's more than like trapworm. Lobstacle is your like best bet for eating anything on New World. And you've also got like the Carniviper line, which you think would be way more dangerous, but just defang them and you're pretty much good to go, man. Scarlet Teeth is probably a little bit confusing to see this high up too. If it and Dive Bird are like the only DLC beasts to make it this far, and that's for a good reason. Scarlet Teeth is just a big wolf, and people eat those. It's fine, it's chill. Dive is just a Scubalorus, but chilly. Heat that guy up, and it'll be chewy. So with all of this,
wait, what about the new DLC?
It's not. It's not even out yet at the time of recording this. All we have is like one scene where people walk into a train car. Okay, we're not doing the DLC yet.
But if you want your video to be complete, I mean.
No, we're just.
But what about fusions? Because like we have to rate the ability of those.
Okay, I'm not doing this. There are like 14,000 fusions, so we're doing speedrun. Okay, so basically fusions are two people working together to become one. But we've seen that fusions also exist in the wild, so we're going with that. You're not eating people, you're not cannibalizing them. If it was, it would be morally dubious, but because it's fusions, it could be anywhere. Ideally, you'd also want compatible meat types, like plant and plant, or bird and bird, or seafood and seafood. If you have mismatched meat types, they'll probably taste weird and funky, and I don't have the time to think about what lamb and pumpkin taste like when fused together on the molecular level.
Do you think that if you fused a Banshee and a Scubalorus, you could make a surf and turf platter with one carcass?
We're done. We're done. You'd also want them to be from like the first couple sections, because like if you fused like a Grampus with a Curie, you're gonna lose all the great meat that's on the Grampus because you just turned it into wood, you idiot! You're honestly like best off going for like a Springheel and Carniviper fusion, because like they're already good, they're super early game. I don't think there needs to be like super incompatible. It's chill, man, just go for it, it'll be great. Come to my potluck, you're not returning my text. Just don't go with like a mascot toy and Velocirifle fusion and you'll be fine, okay? That's the gist of it. With that done, let's go to the meal. Arston has cooked a wonderfully delicious one for me, and you're just going to see a quick snap cut of some of what's happening. This right here is the meal that was made for me. I'm only using footage from this camera. We have a second one with the plate. But if you want to see how that's presented, you got to go look at another channel. Because this is Banshee lamb meat. And if you want to see how it was cooked and the other stuff that was made for it, you got to go check out that other channel. And thank you for watching. This was a massive project to make. We actually haven't even filmed the main part of the video, and I've already probably spent more time on this video than most of my other ones. So if you'd like to see more of stuff like this, I have tons of other ideas. Just let me know with a like and a subscription, and I think we're going to fade to the outro.